This happened one cold night in early March while I was driving back to my apartment in Ravenwood, Ohio. I had spent the evening at a friend's place in the city. Normally, the drive home took just under an hour, but that night was different. A thick, unnatural fog had swallowed the highway, turning the road into a narrow tunnel of shifting gray. After midnight, Route 47 was usually deserted. Every now and then, a semi-truck would pass by, its license plates marked with unfamiliar colors from states I'd never visited. Other than that, I was completely alone. It was a little after 1 a.m. I was exhausted. My friends and I had spent hours wandering around, shopping, checking out new cafes. My eyelids felt heavy, and the fog made everything feel unreal, almost dreamlike. I slowed my speed and turned on my hazard lights, just in case someone appeared behind me out of nowhere. That's when it happened. Out of the fog, a car suddenly emerged, half on the road, half on the shoulder. I slammed on the brakes, narrowly avoiding a collision. My heart pounded as I pulled in behind the black sedan. For a moment, I just sat there, breathing heavily. Then the sedan slowly rolled forward, pulling completely onto the shoulder. A few seconds passed. The driver's window rolled down. An arm extended out and waved, signaling for me to pull over. Still shaken from the near crash, I figured it might be safer to move farther off the road. I followed the car as it turned onto a narrow side road and stopped. The driver's door opened. A man stepped out and walked toward me through the fog. He was tall and lean, wearing a black winter jacket and jeans. He looked to be in his early 30s. As he approached, my headlights illuminated his face, and he was smiling. I cracked my window slightly. I assumed he was coming to apologize for nearly causing an accident. Instead, he motioned for me to roll the window down further. I shook my head and told him I could hear him just fine. He asked where I was headed. Home, I said. He told me the fog wasn't going to lift anytime soon and that it wasn't safe to keep driving. I told him I'd be fine. His eyebrows lifted, and he asked why I had pulled over in the first place. Not wanting to escalate the situation, I lied. I told him I'd received a phone call and needed to answer it. He smirked, as if he knew I wasn't telling the truth. He said he lived nearby with his wife and son, just 5 minutes down the road, and offered to let me wait out the fog at his place. I refused. His smile faded. He started talking about how fog increased the chances of deadly crashes. He said I looked tired. He told me to think about my family before getting back on the road. Something felt wrong. He glanced back toward his car. That's when I noticed movement in the passenger seat. Someone else was inside. Before I could react, the man grabbed my door handle and tried to open it. The door didn't budge. It was locked. Suddenly, the passenger door of the sedan flew open. Another man jumped out, sprinting toward me with a baseball bat in his hands. I threw my car into reverse. The first man shouted something as I hit the gas. The second man swung the bat, but missed, the sound echoing through the fog. I hadn't pulled far off the highway, but visibility was nearly zero. I reversed blindly, turned the wheel and shifted into drive, praying no car was coming. I floored it and merged back onto Route 47 without looking back. Even now, every time I drive that stretch of road, I can't stop thinking about it. I wonder if they tried to stop someone else that night, and I wonder what would have happened if I had rolled my window down just a little more.
Blackwood Highway was never busy, but that night, it felt like the rest of the world had quietly vanished. I was driving towards Cedar Falls, Iowa, after visiting a coworker who lived miles outside the city. The drive was usually simple. Straight roads, open farmland, nothing but darkness and the occasional reflective road sign. But that night, the highway felt different, heavier, like it was holding its breath. There were no streetlights, just my headlights cutting a narrow tunnel through the dark. Cornfields stretched endlessly on both sides, broken only by dead trees standing like silhouettes against the sky. The radio was on at first, some late-night talk show fading in and out through static. Every few miles, the signal weakened until voices warped into something almost unrecognizable. Eventually, I shut it off. The silence felt safer than whatever that sound was turning into. As I rounded a long curve, my headlights caught something ahead. A yellow warning sign standing slightly crooked on the shoulder. I frowned. That didn't make sense. I drove this route often, and there had never been construction here. My GPS showed clear roads for miles. Still, I eased off the gas. The pavement ahead looked darker than the rest of the road, almost like it had been soaked or burned. I stared at it too long, debating whether to stop. Then I passed the sign. The moment I did, my GPS froze. The screen flickered once, then went black. I tried tapping it. Nothing. My phone had no signal either. No bars, no data, just an empty screen reflecting my own worried face. A few minutes passed, maybe 10. The road stayed straight. No turns, no intersections. Then my headlights hit the same yellow sign again. Same dent near the bottom, same bent metal post. My stomach dropped. There was no way I had turned around. I slammed the brakes, heart pounding. The sign stood there silently, as if daring me to question it. I drove past it again. That's when I noticed headlights in my rearview mirror. One car, far back, barely visible, but unmistakably there. I sped up slightly. The headlights stayed the same distance behind me. I slowed down. So did they. A chill crawled up my spine. I changed lanes. The headlights mirrored me. I told myself it was just another late-night driver, coincidence, fatigue playing tricks on my mind. But then I saw the sign again, for the third time. My hands were shaking now. I didn't wait. I took the next exit. The car behind me followed. The exit ramp curved downward into darkness. At the bottom, I expected to see a town, a gas station, anything. Instead, there was a small, cracked parking lot and an old roadside diner. Its neon sign buzzed weakly, letters flickering. Eat. I didn't think. I just pulled in and parked, jumping out of my car and running inside. The diner was empty. No waitress, no cook, no customers. The smell of old grease and cold coffee hung in the air. Booths lined the walls, vinyl cracked with age. A pot of coffee sat on the counter, still warm. That's when I noticed the clock. It was ticking, but the hands weren't moving. My breath caught. The neon lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely. Outside, through the dark window, I saw headlights. The car from the highway was parked behind mine. The engine was still running. A door opened. I didn't wait to see who stepped out. I ran, back into my car, tires screeching as I tore out of the parking lot and back onto the highway. My hands slipped on the steering wheel as panic took over. I didn't look in the mirror. I didn't slow down. After several minutes of blind driving, my dashboard lights flickered. The GPS turned back on. You have reached your destination. Cedar Falls. Street lights appeared, houses, normal roads. I pulled into my driveway and sat there shaking, the engine still running. The next morning, I searched for that diner. There was no record of it. No exit, no road closure, no diner on Blackwood Highway. But sometimes, late at night, when I drive alone, I still check my rearview mirror, because every once in a while, I see headlights far back in the darkness, waiting.